Hey guys, real quick before we get into this video, I just wanted to say this is one of the longest projects I've done in a very long time. Some of the delays were waiting on materials, the others were things like teaching myself how to TIG weld. If you haven't already checked out my friend Chris, she's got a white 4th gen, it's pretty fast. Anyways, she sells shirts. If you want one, pick one up. Now, onto the video. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the shop. Today we've got a new project and I'm going to show it to you right now. Longtime viewers of the channel will know that I'm a fan of the drag and drive stuff. The previous drag and drive trailer that I had was a 4x8 unit and it was an open trailer. I bought it when I lived in Augusta, Georgia, used, and it was a homemade trailer. When we finished up the event, there was a few things that we wanted to change. Made a list and ended up realizing that it was going to cost more to change the things that we wanted to improve on the trailer than it would have been to start over from scratch. So I sold that one. It's now living a life, at least the last time I heard, hauling firewood around gentleman's property. But the plan right off the bat, this is a 4x4 or 40x48, whatever you want to call it, aluminum trailer from Northern Tool. The plan right now is to take off the plywood on there. We're going to weld up all the seams on it. Once we got that done, it'll be time to build a box. From there, I think we're also going to do some fuel jug holders up here. The top will have solar on. Those are a few of the improvements that we wanted to make. Not only holding the fuel, solar to keep tools charged, and then have it enclosed, because the year that we did drag week was the year of the hurricane and we were driving towards it and that whole mess, and anyways, it rained on us every day, at least part of it through the drive. So one of the things that we wanted to make was to keep the luggage in the trailer and be able to keep it dry. Okay, so update on the trailer. All of the seams have been welded and then the bolts have been replaced, specifically the bolts that are on the bottom. Furthermore, since the frame itself is essentially 2 C-channels, one on the inside of the other, on the tops of these 3, we'll call them cross members, I stitch welded on some aluminum plates. They're 1/8 inch thick to basically make up that difference. The frame itself is now ready for the box to get built on it. Before we do that, however, we are going to rewire the trailer. So Northern Tool rates this trailer at 55 or something like that miles an hour. I found out that the reason why is that the passenger side light yeeted itself off the highway. I'm driving down the road, mind my own business. I see something twinkling off in the distance as I'm driving by. And the passenger side light, well, both of them were bolted on, through-bolted here into the frame. The passenger side light had cracked the welds here and on the bottom, and then this whole deal broke off and went flying. So we're rewiring the trailer and we're going to replace those lights with some flush-mounted surface mount deals. Most guys wire the trailer after it's built. This seems like perfect time to rewire it right now because everything's wide open. I don't have to lay on my back to do it. So we're going to do that next, then build the frame. So let's talk about the design here real quick. I modeled all this up in Fusion, got a start on it a couple months back with the help of engineers Tyler and Brent. So here we modeled up the frame of the trailer. It is 40x48, as I've mentioned before. Then we'll go on to the design itself. Wanted to make not only enclosed, but have a shelf up here for luggage. We sized this down, the compartment down at the bottom, specifically so that we could put this toolbox here. I had an unfortunate oversight with that toolbox, as I neglected that the lid would open up and it would take up more space, so reverted to using the toolbox that I used the last drag week. Additionally, the side supports here, how it makes across, will support the spare tire mount that we're going to put, that you're going to see later on. And then up the front, the vertical cross member will not only support the roof, but also where the fuel jug rack will mount. Moving on to tire mounts, It's going to mount to the side of the trailer with this plate. The smaller hole is where there will be a tube welded that will mount to this wheel flange. This flange here is set up for 5-on 4 3/4 bolt pattern and is drilled with 1/2-inch studs. I had both of these parts for the spare tire mount cut out and sent to me from Send Cut Send. Okay, update on the trailer. Took a couple weeks off to go hunting, but got the sides on both sides. They're fully welded and then stitch welded along the bottom. And then I had enough material to put on for the bottom and the top stringers, purlins, whatever you want to call them. Those are welded in place. Ordered more material, and then we'll finish off the front, the roof, and the back. And then gets the last bit of structure will be to build the shelf that goes on the inside. On the sides here, this stud is 22.5 inches back from the back stud. This cross member, which will support the shelf. Okay, so we're back working on the trailer. Got a little bit of work done in here. The floor, the shelf, and the roof are all in permanently. The floor and the front are 304 stainless. The shelf, the roof, the sides will all be aluminum. So last night I got the front cut out, mocked up, all that stuff. Tonight we're gonna go ahead and install it. So let's go ahead and roll a time lapse and you can follow along. For reference, all of the panels, the floor, shelf, roof, front and sides are both panel bonded and riveted in place. Okay, so we left off and I was attaching the front panel, the shelf, and the fuel jug case. So I got a little bit more work done the last couple days. I'll show you right now. Hold on one second. Okay, like I mentioned, the shelf, the fuel jug holder came in. I also picked up a trailer jack that's going to go, or tongue jack that's going to go in the front. I mounted the solar panel on the roof, and then you can see it down in there, there is a wiring pass-through for an RV. That's how it passes through, and then on the back of it, there are two quick disconnect fittings, or connectors, two quick disconnect connectors, connect the panel, and where it passes through on the inside. That way the solar panel can come off if it needs to. Once I was done with that, got a battery box, mounted that, and then installed like the cheapest Group 34, I think it was, battery from AutoZone. Got that in there, wired up the solar charge controller, power inverter, and up here you got 6 sets of lights. And then there's 2 more. There you go, that's a better shot. So we've got 6 sets of light, 2 in the top back here, 2 in the back that'll shine down on them there, and then 2 more underneath the shelf. Once got that all done, went ahead and seam sealed with the 3M seam sealer all the way around the floor. We should have a waterproof trailer now. The next thing up is going to be to attach the side panels on here. They're over on the other side of the shop right now. I got to cut them out, rivet and glue them, or rivet and panel bond them on, and then we'll be all set. All right, so back at the trailer again, and just watched welding up the tire mounts. So the idea here on the trailer is that on the side of the trailer, each side, we'll mount the race tires for the drive portion. The other big update is that the rear door came in. So I ordered it. So I ordered that door from a company called Rec Pro, and technically this is a custom size cargo door for like not even an enclosed trailer, like an RV. But anyways, they call this the slam latch. It has a regular door. It also has a key, which was important for me for theft prevention and whatnot. So the big thing for me is that I wanted a prefabricated door so that I did not have to figure out the weather stripping on here, and I could have it waterproof. It took a little bit of calculation and all that to make sure, because they want, the Rec Pro wants the rough opening on here for the door opening. So anyways, just a little bit of calculations on that, careful measurements, and then it got it all put in. They had like a 6 to 8 week lead time. I ordered it at the end of Christmas. It got here, I think, the first week of February. So not a terrible turnaround, but it did slow me up a little bit. These tire mounts, on those tire mounts, I'm gonna take them to work, have them powder coated by our powder coater at work. Then I'll get them mounted on the trailer, and then we'll be about done. Really, all that's left is to install this trim here on the edges. Everybody meet Duke. Duke is an 11-month-old black lab. Got him at the end of January. Some of y'all might remember my old black lab, Midnight. She passed at the beginning of September. We still got Cooper. He's just in the house getting some peace from this little terrorist. All right, guys, we're about done with this trailer. In the last few days, I got the tire mounts back from powder coat. Same powder coater that we use at work. Did mine. I did not get them for free or anything like that. I paid just like anybody else would have to. But the tire mounts are on. They're riveted to the trailer, again, to both the frame vertically and horizontally. One of the other things that I did, the trailer is now riding on the same wheels and tires that are on the front of the Camaro. That is for two reasons. One is so that they match. The other reason is that the trailer has the spare tires for the front of the Camaro. In doing so, I had to use some 4-lug by 5-lug adapters, which pushed the whole tire out away from the original hub. That wasn't necessarily a bad thing, as it gives the trailer a little bit wider track width, but it also required wider fenders. So I picked these fenders up from the local farm and fleet, which is inferior in every possible way to Fleet Farm, but it's what we had locally. So all of the trim is now installed along all of the edges. It was caulked with the same kind of caulk that you'd use in bathroom sealant. This shelf has been in a few shots. We haven't really talked about it, but anyways, you pull one pin and then the shelf itself folds down, giving you a work surface. If you guys made it this far, I'd appreciate a like, follow, subscribe, whatever you'd like. Additionally, there is a merch store. You can get shirts, stickers, calendars, so on and so forth. The link will be in the description. If you found this video good, there's going to be 2 videos up here I think you might enjoy. Thanks for watching.